everybody, how are we? Welcome along to WD18, the Watford fan channel. I'm joined by Ucko. I'm joined by Charlie Zazzera. My name is Culshaw. We're going to discuss the annoying performance yesterday at Loftus Road. It did finish QPR 3, Watford 1. All three of us were there. All three of us were watching the game together, which was really, really nice. First thing to say, though, we are here at Vicarage Road for a very special announcement, so keep your eyes peeled across WD18 fans on social and here on the YouTube channel. Turn on your post notifications, most importantly, and subscribe to the channel. Charlie, El Clasico, QPR versus Watford. For you, it's the big fixture of the year, especially away from them, I think, as well. I think the last time we got a really, really good result there was actually the Danny Graham day, so it has been quite a long time since we've...
Jake Livermore.
Oh, Jake Livermore. Jake Livermore. He was trying to start that yesterday, by the way. Didn't catch on until the 89th minute.
I started singing 90 minutes when we were 3-1 down. I was like, lads, it's too late now.
Why does that feel like a distant memory? That's about a year ago.
Can I just say, by the way, what a day. I loved it. Like, other than the 90 minutes on the pitch, that was horrific.
Today or yesterday?
No, yesterday. 90 minutes on...
Today?
What a day today, but keep your eyes peeled for that. Won't go into too much more.
Retention.
But
the eyes are peeled.
Other than the 90 minutes yesterday, what a day. I loved it. Bit of breakfast with you two beforehand. Afterwards, go with Charlie Bush as well. I loved it.
It was a lovely day.
Football's more about than what you just see on the pitch. Listen, we're going up anyway. We can afford to let a few points drop here and there.
Now, I would be lying that Sam said that in the ground yesterday.
We get minute by minute from Sam.
Well, at 20 minutes there was pressure on the manager, but look, I'm not gonna, I don't want to out him for that.
I'll go into it. But should we go straight into it? Actually, all right, let's go straight into it.
This is
right. Here is what I said yesterday in the ground. We've now lost 2 games in a row, which sounds insane for any other football club. But we lose on Saturday here at Vicarage Road against Sheffield United. With us this close to the top 6, I do worry that at some point soon, if results don't pick up, Gino could Gino. That's insane to say after 2 games, and that's a result ultimately of the culture that's been created at the club. But, you know, we do need to pick up results again, because I just worry, that's all. That's not what I do. I'm just thinking what Gino would do.
But now on, we don't want to put that out in the ether, so let's not say it.
Hang on to my other question that I was discussing yesterday. Rank your favourite potatoes. I said this yesterday, and this caused a lot of debate amongst us. And it's better than talking about the game, so let's do this, I think.
Wait, so we've just gone from Tom Cleverley potentially be under the pressure to
It's a clean
potatoes.
segue for me.
Saute in the top 5.
Roasties number 1.
Chips.
Mash. Chips are their own category.
Chips are potatoes. Chips are potatoes.
Okay. Roasties, mash, chips. Honourable mention to Dauphinoise.
Yeah, I'd chuck Dauphinoise in the mix. I think roasties are probably top.
Is gnocchi potato?
No. Confirm us in the comments section. One thing that we're pretty sure about is that Watford weren't at the races yesterday. That was my segue there, Sam. We go from Tom Cleverley potatoes back to the football. Charlie, what went wrong yesterday? Because it was a Watford performance that was off it, apart from a couple of individuals. Chatfordazzi and Barr were probably the 2 standouts. Barr had a really, really good game. I think you said it was one of his best performances in a Watford shirt. But away from the positives, that was a Watford performance lacking quite a bit, I thought.
Yeah, I think there's a main issue which I'll get into, and I really hate to do this, but I only think it's fair that some credit has to go to Marty Cifuentes. I think he did a job on us, especially kind of how he exploited our fullbacks, building up, gave kind of our outside centre-backs in Pollock and Porteous a miserable time. They were drawing us out and kind of popping at us, around us and at us, back for all the time. But then, if you look at from our side, I honestly think there's a mentality. I think there's a deep underlying mentality problem with some players in the team. Like, we've been relegated a couple of times. We've seen it in years gone by, and I think especially the big games away from home when it gets physical, very similar to Luton. Oh God, just one for the big games. But I think the mentality is my issue. When sometimes we're moaning to the ref, we're throwing ourselves on the ground, we're feeling sorry for ourselves, where we just need to stand up, play our football. Because you saw yesterday when we tried to play, we were 10 times the better team, but we just got bullied. Both boxes were key. They won the battles kind of in those boxes, and yeah, that's why they won. But I do think the mentality, for me, an underlying mentality that I'm sure Cleves is working hard to get rid of.
Yeah, Cleverley in his post-match comments mentioned actually in the sort of middle third of the pitch Watford were pretty good, but it was as simple, and I completely agree with him, is that it was both boxes really from Watford yesterday. I mean, not good enough in the final third, particularly though for me, Sam, when you play with a back 3 you expect to be a bit more defensively solid. 3 crosses, 3 goals, which is not a good look, really. And actually, all of them were soft goals that were easily avoidable. Was that the most concerning thing for you yesterday? Because for me, you don't want to overreact with one result, and people say, well, it is back-to-back defeats. That it's going to happen in the Championship season. Even the best teams in this division will have that this season. I think maybe the manner of the goals we conceded yesterday, Sam, was my biggest concern. What was it for you?
Yeah, both boxes, like you say. I'll start off with going forward. Again, Vacuum Bio, completely anonymous yesterday. I just feel like we've got so many streaky players who will almost have 3 good games, then they'll go missing for 5 or 6 games and we won't see them. Vacuum Bio being one of them. And I just thought it was so telling yesterday, where it was in the closing minutes of the game and Quadro Bar had an opportunity to cross it for Bio, but he just didn't trust him and just went for it and hit the bar.
Yeah.
And nearly broke the goal, to be honest with you. I just thought that was really, really telling, to be honest with you. And yeah, striker's going to be so important. Jefferson didn't come on yesterday, which I thought was really interesting as well. Not sure why that one was, because Bar just wasn't involved at all. But then the other concern, the other box, like you said, the back three, not having that security was concerning. But a big part of that for me as well as the goalkeeper. Zero authority there at the back, moaning for the entire game. Got the lawnmowers out as well, ready for hopefully a winning return back at Vicarage Road at the weekend. But yeah, moaning the entire game, no authority, not coming for crosses. And it's the same problems we've spoken about over and over again with Dan Bachmann. So frustrating. And I genuinely think a goalkeeper is... If we had a goalkeeper who relaxed the defenders in front of him, the defenders improve as well. And that's why when Dan Bachmann did go through... I talk about streaky plays again. When Bachmann was going through a bit of an upturn in form, I thought defensively we looked more solid as well. But now that he's back to almost his shaky and potentially normal self as well, we're back to square one. And I'm just... This goalkeeper, I'm just...
Do we need to maybe just take a breath and take a step back about this Watford team though, Sam? Because we look at the situation now and almost the fact that we are overachieving this season, which I think a lot of Watford fans would agree. You look at the team that Tom Cleverley's got, he's doing a magnificent job, I believe, getting the maximum out of the players that he has. And now, because expectations have just shifted slightly, he's now being used against him a little bit. When actually, in reality, I had Watford down for 17th. I think you had them down for 19th. And Charlie had them down for...
Your 10th.
Your 10th. But even for that, that's exceeding what we thought. The fact that I don't think you would have thought we were in the playoff mix, really.
I do think we're massively overachieving, and Tom Cleverley is... And this is why I think it would be absolutely insane to get rid of him, or anyone who's questioning him. I think at this point what you're seeing... But what you're seeing at this moment in time, though, I think is more of a reality of where this Watford team are, because we've been massively overachieving all season. And it was never, not never sustainable, but it's very difficult to almost be punching above your weight for that long in such a competitive league. And
so do we have to adjust our expectations as fans then?
Yeah, absolutely. If you look at the squad of players, especially, I think the stat of the day, I don't know if it was Tom Bodell from the Watford Buzz podcast, but our centre midfield pairing yesterday had a combined age of, I think, 67. And then I looked, because I'm sad, I looked at Man United's, much maligned Man United's, Casemiro and Eriksen's was 63 or something like that. So if you look at that with our centre midfield, look at the players that we've got, pound for pound. Sierralta, Porteous has fallen off.
And that slight upward sort of trajectory in its form.
Streaky players, that's what I'm saying though. This is why they're at Watford as well, and why we haven't necessarily kicked on with this team. It's just streaky players.
One thing that I wanted to mention as well, when Sam said about both boxes, which I thought was interesting, and actually, one point, I think this was the first game we watched together, us three. Never again after that result.
Some of the hot takes coming out, by the way.
Can't believe that.
One thing that you were saying was the crosses. We've conceded with 3 crosses, and then as the game's going on, I'm like, the amount of crosses we've put in.
Yeah.
So I looked at the stats. I think QPR put 13 crosses in, scored with 3. We put through 24 crosses, and I think what Sam said about the bar hitting the crossbar was bang on. Where we looked in, we saw Jeremy Nkaki had put a stunning ball in. Bayo should have scored in the first half.
Yep.
There was one in the second half where Bayo was behind the action again. From Bar. And yeah, it summed up at the end where Bar looked at it and he thought, now I'm just going to go for it myself. And that's just a quality thing. And we're bang on what Cleverley is doing with the players available. He is overachieving, and he's, I think, like pound for pound in one of the best jobs in the Championship. So, Gino, let's see what we do in January, because I think, I don't know, you probably know about the comments more, but interesting comments after the game.
Yeah, interesting comments that Cleverley had mentions that he felt the squad's a little bit light at the moment in terms of championship experience and proven players. He also said that he feels it's pretty clear where we might need a couple of players in. He said we're conceding far too many goals at the moment. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's around 24, 25 goals we've now conceded away from home, which is really frustrating because I feel like out Vicarage Road, rarely do you feel like we are going to. I know the Portsmouth game was, the Cardiff game was a little bit of an anomaly, but we rarely concede that many goals at Vicarage Road. But away from home, it does feel like a bit of a mentality shift, Sam. On the Cleverley comments, though, where do you feel we need to strengthen? We did a video on it, 5 players Watford should sign, but one position we didn't mention, which I felt that Cleverley was probably hinting at, was a centre-back, and we didn't mention a centre-back at all.
Yeah, I can't believe we overlooked that completely on the video.
Sorry, Sam, we're thinking of quality over quantity. Because I think we've got quite a few, with Morris there being adapted to a left centre-back, Siralta, Ogbonna's coming back now, Porteous, Pollock.
Got Tikvich, Kai, Caben somewhere as well.
Yeah, so go on, Sam.
No, I was going to say, just there are a lot of numbers in there, just maybe sometimes we lack in quality. The thing that I just want sometimes is, and Clev's hinted at this as well, a proper leader out there who's going to take control of games. And the big thing I'm looking at, I'm fed up of these early goals, first 5 minutes, first 10 minutes. Over a quarter of Watford's goals conceded this season have been in the first 10 minutes. That's not good enough at all.
And if you're an opposition team now, you are just saying out the blocks, go hard, go quick.
Just go at them, because I think what we really need, outside of Matty Pollock and Ryan Porteous potentially as well, I don't see any proper leaders outfield, to be honest with you. People, just...
What do you mean by leader, Sam?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you, because I think it's a big mentality shift needed at the start of games, because at times it's almost like we're expecting to concede in the opening minutes of games, and it's just a mentality thing. But just manage the game a bit better. It's the second game in a row now as well. It happened against Cardiff at Vicarage Road on last week as well, on the 27th or the 29th, sorry, and then it happened again at QPR, where Watford scored to get ourselves back into the game, and then we concede straight away after that. What is that all about?
Criminal.
What?
I've actually found... See that bit of Tom Cleverley hair? He's been pulling it out.
You're going to get framed. You're going to get that framed, aren't you? Do you know what? We actually did see...
Certainly not mine.
I don't think if you could catch it on the camera, but this dugouts, this is where Tom Cleverley sits, obviously. Robbo looks a little bit different. But that glass has been smashed a couple of times. I wonder what manager did that over the years. We'll have to wait and see. I have to say, I was very close to pulling my hair out over the third goal.
Show off.
I'm not.
God, the third goal was a crime.
For you both generally, because Charlie asked that, or one of you asked that question to me a minute ago. What does a leader look like for you out there on a football pitch? Because how do we combat this conceding early every single week, basically, or how do we stop conceding straight after we score as well? Because it is so infuriating. I was livid when we conceded that early goal. To be honest,
I think the biggest thing for me this season, there's been a lot of positives, but the one probably red flag I've seen from this Watford team is the game management of periods of the game. And it really, I don't normally get that angry at games, really, but I think Charlie, I wasn't angry, I was frustrated more at the third goal yesterday. I think that probably sums up the lack of leadership in the team, because we're 2-1 up. It's around, we've got that fluky goal, 55 minutes, Charlie's gone, we just need a fluky goal, we've got it, bar with the deflection in, 2-1, you're back in the game. Just manage it for the next 5 minutes. You don't need to play like it's the last 5 minutes of the game. And it just felt like Watford there's no one on the pitch who just has a look around and goes, you know what, just calm down, let's just see the next 5 minutes out. And instead we're bombing up the pitch, we've left ourselves exposed, ball across the box, and it's another goal. And that all came from Cifuentes' tactics to playing behind the wing backs. Fair play to him. Paul Smith had an absolute field day against our left hand side, but Watford didn't manage the game. And Tom Cleverley mentioned it afterwards, Sam, about how Moussa Sissoko isn't your typical leader, in the sense that he's a fantastic professional, he leads by example in that way, people follow him. He's not the biggest talker. I don't want to misquote Cleves, but it was along those lines, where he basically said that he's not your traditional captain who's going to scream at people, whereas a Matty Pollock is someone who's more going to be shouting at people. He's always after a goal, trying to lift the team. So for you to bring it back around, Charlie, for what maybe we're missing in terms of a leader, is it someone actually just to be a bit more vocal, or is it someone being in the referee's ear a little bit more? But actually, we have a few that do that at the minute. But what do you reckon we're missing in that department?
Yeah, when you were talking there, do you know, I was thinking of Wesley Hoot.
Yeah.
And I think Matty Pollock yesterday, he didn't have his best game, but we got exposed, and he was exposed on that left.
A lot of football.
Yeah, and he's been outstanding, my player of the season so far, so it's not on that. But after the game, who's the one straight to the away fans, the furthest forwards fronting it? I don't want to name names, but other people weren't. So And then when you were talking there, I was thinking about Wesley Hoot. Matty's literally playing his first full season in England as a player. What is he, 22 now?
50th Watford game yesterday as well.
Yeah.
54th game. Yeah.
He's the future, but especially Wesley Hoot last season, it might have been the intangibles that we're missing now. Sorry, I'm trying not to laugh.
I'm just... We've done so much filming, by the way.
Bingo card. Scratch off the bingo card.
Do you know, and it came from Charlie this time and not me. What I find frustrating, right, is that you have to take a step back with this Watford team. Context is so important. Like you said, a lot of us expected we'd be down there at the end of the season, nowhere near where we are. We've overachieved massively. You take a step back, and we're actually having an excellent season. We're miles ahead of where we should be. However, my issue at the moment is that it's errors that you almost taught in the early stages of football, and the errors that shouldn't be happening.
Basics.
The basics that we're not getting right. And yes, ultimately, if Watford had lost to the better team yesterday and against Cardiff, you turn around and you go, hands up, fair play. We did our absolute best today. We got beaten by the better team. Well done, Cifuentes, excellent manager. But that wasn't the case. We absolutely gifted them 3 goals, and that's the frustration.
Did you think QPR were the better team yesterday? Because I thought they were do you know what the biggest thing yesterday? I thought
Smarter.
they looked like the more well drilled team, really,
and more physical, more smart. Cifuentes is a kind of ball playing.
Cifuentes.
Marty Cifuentes.
Cifuentes, isn't it?
Yeah, Ali Maxwell won't like that. Marty Cifuentes, but he wants his players to play out the back, but his players, they're doing that like Jimmy Dunn and people like that. So the fact that he's clever enough that he can mix it and go long.
And they manage the game really well. No, I hate that. Might be my bingo, managing the game. Yeah. Sam's is intangibles, yours is momentum bar.
Yeah, the momentum bar. Look at the momentum bar. We did have most of it in the second half. But one thing about the game, just to end on a lighter note. Not a lighter note, but I don't want to talk about it anymore. But a big factor of the game that we, like Sam's saying about the context, it was raining.
I can't remember it's been raining.
Do you know what? And also, again, not another excuse. I didn't think the referee had a good game yesterday. Now, that's not. So I think we would have lost the game anyway.
The disallowed goal, apparently, there was nothing in it.
And also on Batman, Sam, we have to. I was going to say we have to remember it's been raining. No, with Batman, he did take that big knock in the first half, which we've had it confirmed that it was a bit of a heavy knock. That was weird though for people. Well. Let's just I wanted to touch on that, because if you were at the game yesterday, you would have noticed that at half time, Jonathan Bond was warming up. He was potentially gonna cut. He was getting stripped about 30 minutes inside the first half. Then at half time, Sam, I mean, I can't really work out that situation, because it looked for all purposes that he was going to be coming on at half time.
Yeah, I mean, if the knock was that heavy, it probably should have come off.
Would you have taken him off?
Yeah, I would have taken him off as well, because he wasn't good enough, and he was in the ref's ear 24/7 as well. I just
Porteous was doing that a lot yesterday, wasn't he?
I mean, it's probably an area like we said. I mentioned I'd like someone like Gavin Bazunu coming in this January transfer window. Someone who can play out from the back would be an absolute game changer for Watford. But again, you need those leaderships. You don't need someone erratic who's going to be absolutely screaming at the ref, screaming at everyone the entire time. And yeah, we've spoken enough about Dan, to be honest with you. But
change you make for Saturday, Sam?
I mean, I would bring Jonathan Bond in, yeah, but he won't. It'll be Dan Batman in goal.
No, I mean, in terms of the rest of the team, you look at the midfield too, Ince and Sissoko, that for me didn't work.
I mean, Clevy did say that Luce's injury isn't too bad. Maybe the weekend will be too soon for him, but Imran Luz has got to come in. What's Pierre Dormo got to do to get a game? I'm wondering, there must be something going on there.
So, I don't get me wrong, I don't disagree that if you've got a natural central midfielder on the bench, you play them over Tom Ince, who's not a central midfielder, especially in the 2. And in 3, you probably get away with it. What I'm kind of a little bit... I've taken a step back with Duomo and thought, whilst I would play him, are we getting to the point where maybe we're over hyping him just because he's the only option we have available as central midfield? This is what I'm just a little bit careful of, because don't get me wrong, he's a talented lad, and look, he should play if he's available. But I think there was a couple of situations last season where certain players weren't playing, and we've kind of overhyped them, and then they've come into the team and actually...
But the issue is, and I think it was an interesting line cleverly said after the game about Ince and how well he trains, how much professional, but the problem is he's putting them into the team and they're not delivering. So and that's just the truth of it. The experienced players... So yeah, I think that's the case. When you were talking about kind of game management and leader in pitch, you know who was great at that? John Eustace. Honestly, because he was.
Mike Parkin loves it.
John Eustace. Wow.
Deeney might have gone a bit too far on the other side, but Eustace, great looking man, but he was just smart in terms of what to say, when to say it, any bit of nous that we had. And I think we've said that. We've done the players we should sign video, but any Championship player who's played in the league, I think in the summer we put up Lewis Travis. He's having a great season at Blackburn again. I can't even remember who we put up.
He's excellent at it, by the way, Lewis Travis.
But it's that. He done Sissoko, didn't he?
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I think let's end it. QPR's put in a box. Big Graham Taylor match day next game here at the Mecca. Jacob, how's that going to go?
Well, I think when you look at the league and you think of probably the hardest game,
they've been well off. They've been well off it. Lost last night against Sunderland. I don't think they've won in their last 3 or 4 now.
But Chris Wilder will be wanting to get one over Watford. I think we can't underestimate that. Don't get me wrong. I think the Watford fans will get a good reception when he comes into Vicarage Road because he told a few home truths. I think at the time when he came in, and to be fair, I think he did change a lot in terms of. Maybe just, I think a lot of the fans were probably saying it, and he was the first manager to actually turn around and say it to whoever. So look, I think whilst they are a little bit off it form-wise, it's a really tough team to come into Vicarage Road now. I think it's probably the tougher task going to Bramall Lane. We didn't get that result earlier on in the season. Daniel Jefferson got quite a bit of stick that game. Sissoko probably should give away a penalty.
Jefferson has to start 5 games in a row. Sorry, had to get that.
Yeah. I mean, no better time for him to score his. I do think as well. Yeah,
would you start him?
Yeah, 100%. He'll be so up for it.
I want to see him down that end in front of that away fan. In front of the away fans.
They can't stand him as well. I think it's something like he left for money or something like that. It is huge, and I think the thing that I just want to see better is game management. You don't concede in the first 5-10 minutes again, and also if we do score, they don't go and score 2 minutes after that as well. They're the 2 things that I want to see. It's going to be a really, really tough game, and yes, they're probably a technically better team than us. They just came down from the Premier League, obviously, got some excellent and really technical players in there. I think Raksaki has really, really impressed this season there. Obviously, they just got loads of really impressive players. And
Palmer, O'Hare.
Exactly.
But one thing about Vicarage Road, the stadium, and being here today, I love this place so much. But the atmosphere has gone up like 2 or 3 levels, and that's all down to Cleverly and the players on the pitch. We've had some special days here. I've got a lot of bruises on my shins from Portsmouth still. That's right. Let's not forget about Cardiff, but.
Must win, or would you take a point?
No, not must win. I think a point would be a good result against.
I'll take a point.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry, an automatic team, but I think the crowd have a huge part to play, and I think we've been really behind this team. Even against Cardiff, the minute we conceded, the fans were like singing Cleverly's name behind the team. So let's stay in the game, and the crowd are going to be back in the team. And we've seen this year that Vicarage Road has been a lot better, been a lot rocking. So. Looking forward to it.
Well, Clevs will be sat in Charlie's seat. It's Charlie's seat today. Sam, what a pleasure. We'll be back at Vicarage Road here, which is very rare that we're able to say that. Back here at Vicarage Road on Saturday for the visit of Sheffield United. Chris Wilder's Sheffield United here at Vicarage Road. As always, this is brought to you in partnership with Hertfordshire Mind. As I said at the top of the show, we'll have a very special announcement on the way, which you need to stay tuned to because it is a really special one. I've got a smile on my face just thinking about it. But if you did enjoy the video, please do leave a like, comment down below your thoughts on anything we discussed here today and what your thoughts are going into the game on Saturday. Subscribe to WD18, follow us on our social channels at WD18 Fans, and we will see you in the next one. Take care and up the units. You want.